It's been about 3 weeks, really, since I've been playing with the TicWatch, and I don't have it on right now, but that's because I'm doing this review for you. So let's do that, shall we? Goods and bads, what I like, what I don't. Coming up. This little watch, I got it down here. So here it is, down here. I'm going to be the first to admit, I actually really like this little watch. I didn't know I was going to like it as much, and I've been wearing it pretty much all the time. There's a few little things you have to get used to, little modifications that you might want to do depending. There's a few little things that I'm like, would have been nice if they could have did that a little differently. But for the most part, for the price point, for bang for buck, for coming in around that, you know, mid $200 range for the TicWatch 2. I know they have a couple different models out right now which can fluctuate a little higher, a little lower. I think this is a great buy depending on what you are looking for out of a smartwatch. So let's put it up against its biggest competitor right off the bat, and that's of course the Apple Watch, which is out there and everybody kind of goes towards, especially if they are running on or in the Apple ecosystem, especially with an iPhone. So first thing to be aware of, is it going to be as tied into that system as an Apple Watch? No, definitely not. It is not. So if you want that, go get an Apple Watch. What are some of the limitations? Well, one of the things that you have to realize right out of the gate is that I would say weight-wise, this one is smaller. So for some of us that actually are going to use this as a day-to-day just watch, it's nice having something that's a little lighter on it. There were many times that I almost completely forgot I was wearing this watch because of the fact of how light it is, which I really like. First thing, and if you had watched my previous video, one of the things I had talked about was battery life. So a few things to be aware of with battery life. Number one is that if you turn it on and you enable all the features, I was getting approximately 12 hours, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. Few things to change that. So if we come down here to the watch, I'm going to just see if I can bring this up. Hopefully it's not too dark for you guys, but I want you to be able to see the screen. So here on the watch, a few things that you want to do is when you swipe down here, I gotta put my code in there. When you swipe down, you'll see the settings button at the very top here, so we're gonna click on that. So there's a few things that you want to look into. Number one is, first off, you'll see this power saving, and in here, if you want, there's power reserve. I have it disabled. Auto power saving. Now I did turn that on, and I turned it on once my battery hit 15%. Okay, which you can go in there if you so choose, and you can just kind of pick 10%, 15, 20%, whatever. I picked 15, check mark, good to go. You can also do a power schedule, so if you wanted to go into these low power modes between certain times, let's say you're a person that wears this overnight, and you're like, put it in to that mode when I'm sleeping. So I'm in bed by 11 o'clock and I'm up by 5 o'clock in the morning, so between those two times, put it into that mode. Do it. Excellent. The other thing, of course, here under that power savings is that you'll see wristband mode, select watch faces, and be aware too, there are certain watch faces, and they'll tell you if you go into them, it'll actually come up and say, be aware, this watch face uses extra battery, and a lot of it is based on the heart rate monitor. So be aware of that one. Now, when you come back in here and try this is, for me, was the big one. And you'll see it's under gestures. So when you're in gestures, this was the big one for me. Tilt to light up. And I see I have that disabled. So the biggest issue, and you'll see how dark my watch goes and how fast it goes dark. So one of the biggest things is you're constantly doing this all day. La 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 la. And every time I would move my arm a little bit, it would light up. Not that I would realize it, but it would light up. That was probably the biggest reason I was only getting about 12 hours, because she's constantly lighting and darkening, constantly lighting and darkening. So I decided to turn that feature off, which means that I simply, when I need to either check the time or do whatever I'm doing with my watch, either touch the screen or touch the side button. So you'll notice back down here, if I literally just touch the screen, she lights up. Good, that's all I need. Choose your watch face accordingly, etc., etc. Now, a few things that's nice too is when you're in here, you can set the screen brightness, and you can set it to 3 different levels, so really bright, medium, low. But a lot of people don't probably know this is that I have mine actually set to medium right now. But if you click that and click this 3 times really fast, 1, 2, 3, you'll see that it goes to full brightness just for that time. So maybe you're outside in the middle of the day. You're like, well, I can't really see it. 1, 2, 3, bright. Fantastic. And just so you guys know too, if you have your watch and your phone paired together, if I go 1, 2, you'll see a little flash, and that's a screenshot. Sends it over to your phone, puts it right into your camera roll. Handy, most definitely. Those I really like. Because of those features that I've set up, I am getting, I want to say 2 days. And I say 2 days because it's 2 full days, not including nights. So I can put this watch on first thing in the morning, all day, all night, all day. That night probably have to charge. That's crazy. You know, I'm getting 36 hours on a watch. Bang, love it. That's fantastic. So that's a huge perk for me. All right, one of the things that I also really like is the fact that this has some of the health kit included in it. So one of the things too is if you were to come into here again, slide over, you'll see fitness, and fitness will allow me to go in and choose, you know, there's outdoor walk, there's indoor run, there's cycling, etc., etc., etc. Okay, very pretty, they're well designed. The activity itself works really well. The GPS works really well. It tracks everything super good because it got your heart rate. It does a really nice summary at the end. That information does get sent to Health Kit, except for the physical mapping information. So if you go into Health Kit and you're like, I'd like to see my activity, so where did I run and what did I do? That information isn't there. You'd have to go into the phone app and you could actually see all that activity inside the actual TicWatch app. Still good. The only thing, and I haven't seen this actually on any Android-based watch, is for the actual heart rate monitor, if you just turn it on, be like, I want to check my heart rate. It'll do it, which is cool, but it won't send that information to Health Kit. It has to be in an activity. So just kind of be aware that if you're checking it and you're like, oh, it's high, that doesn't necessarily go there. Not that I can see a setting for that. So just kind of be aware of that one. That could be a minor little detail if that's important. Other kind of cool thing on here that I like is if you slide this way, you'll get something like this. What's the weather like today?
Today, mostly cloudy, 22 degrees to 27 degrees.
I just got a little voice on there. That's kind of handy, right? Now, be aware, it's really limited to what it can do. It is not a Siri or a Google Home type thing. It's really limited, but it has some good ones on there. So if I said, for some reason, you know, check my heart rate. So of course it's not going to be able to check my heart rate because I'm not wearing it right now, but it brings it up, which is cool. So really small list right now. I'm hoping that that's going to enlarge to get more things in it, but it does the basic things like you have the ability to do heart rate, start an activity, check the weather, do some basic conversion. Any kind of app that you have on the actual watch itself, you can actually tell it to open, so that's kind of cool if you wanted to do that. Last but not least, and here's a big one for me, is a negative, and I say negative, but maybe it's a negative, maybe it's not, all depends, is that the physical store on here is not fantastic. It's its own store, so if you go into this Mobvoi store, I think it is, right, and even if I come in here to like top charts, it says, okay, top charts gives you these, and I'm like, cool. End of results. But that's literally all of them. I don't think there's any other ones. I've gone into game, I've gone into featured. It's the same apps being listed. So really, you're gonna get this watch for what it does. Is there an app store? Yeah, kinda, sorta. Is it expanding? I don't know. Maybe. For those of us that go way back and remember Pebble, when the Pebble watches came out, they didn't have much of an app store either. Their system was really tied down, but what it did have, it did actually very well, and that's what I'm finding with this. The activity works well. The watch faces work well. You know, if you get to learn what this watch does, it's actually really good. And the notifications I find from the iPhone even to this watch are coming over just like a charm. So I'm gonna come here again, and you'll see if I scroll up like this, there's my notifications from messages, you know, my Carrot app, Let Go app, from Messenger, whole bunch. And literally I can just kind of, yeah, don't need that, dismiss it, don't need that, dismiss it, click on it to see more about it, clear it, you know. That's okay. Honestly, for me, that's one of the biggest reasons I want a smartwatch is notifications. And I did find, and not that I can show you, but if somebody phones me, that phone information shows up on the watch. Not that I can answer it from there, but it shows up. So that shows up there. Contacts and calendars synchronized across perfectly. So super happy with all that. Coming from someone that's been wearing an Apple Watch for the last, 4 years, this has to be, in my opinion, one of my favorite smartwatches outside of that. It's my first Android-based. Even though it's a little constrained as to what it does, it's definitely my favorite one out there. The activity app works well. The notifications work good. After tinkering with it for a while, the battery information is fantastic. I can get it to last, like I said, almost 2 whole days. You just gotta kind of work with it in its constraints. Is it going to have updates? My hope it will be, and that they'll launch even some new stuff for it. But right now, I'd say this is a buy if you're kind of looking for like an activity tracker / simple to intermediate smartwatch. I really like it. So I'm going to leave it there. Oh, and last but not least, the charger. Fantastic. Just a little disc base. It looks no different really. I'll just bring up like a lens cap. Like this, watch sits on it. Charges in about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. Super good. All the happiness. Go get it. I'm going to leave a link down there because I think it's well worth it and you guys should possibly look into it. Alright my friends, I'm going to leave you there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will talk to you again in the next video. Have a good one and enjoy your day. Later.